Well, by popular request of a friend, I'm making a video about something that I think is neat. And the thing that I think is neat this week is, well, weirdly enough, still nature. But more specifically, what to do with all those strawberries that you picked now that you have them. And the answer to that, make it into something. Sure, you can eat strawberries fresh, just like what I was doing the last time, or you can take them and 3 other ingredients and make something real special. And that something special is what we're doing today. Strawberry cobbler, or at least my take on it. I'm not really a fancy person who needs to do cornstarch, sugars, and vanilla, and flour in my strawberry cobbler. For my strawberry cobbler, you're going to need strawberries, butter, brown sugar. I know I just said you don't need sugar, but like, there's a difference between regular sugar and brown sugar. And if every single recipe that includes strawberry cobbler includes brown sugar, you don't need to add white sugar to it. Anywho, but what you do need, instead of flour, oats. I've got my little Quaker oats in a bag right here, so that makes it easy. But pretty much, when it comes to measuring things out, don't bother. You just need to cover the entire space. Ooh, fresh butter. Ooh. All right, so as we're cooking our strawberry cobbler, it's kind of important to, I don't know, it's important to have fun. First rule. So real quick, before we start cooking our strawberry cobbler, it's kind of funny because, you know, when I was picking the strawberries the other time, I wasn't really paying attention how much they weigh because you never do that. And I guess strawberries in Taiwan are just a lot bigger and a lot riper. So I accidentally picked, 2.5 kilos and, I got it home just safe. But it was real funny because 2 things. One, I kind of don't realize how much 2 kilos of strawberries are. I guess the weight just never registers for me. But 2, when I was buying the strawberries from the guy, he was putting them in a box, and well, obviously I can't take that home on the motorcycle. So I told him, put it in a bag, please and thank you. And he did, and he was carefully putting them in a bag. And sure enough, they did get home, but whew, they got home a little drippy and syrupy. And honestly, when it comes to, cooking and baking, it doesn't really matter what the quality is, and that's something that I find not frustrating, but just interesting and different about, Taiwan's culture and, well, for the most part, Korea's culture and Japan's culture as well. They're all about presentation and making things look nice. And there is certainly something to be said about making things look nice. But when it comes to eating things and things going in your stomach to then be digested, I don't really think presentation matters, or at least as far as I'm concerned, presentation doesn't matter. So if you're looking for a recipe that uses ugly strawberries, this is the one for you. Let's get started. First thing first, melt the butter. All right, now that the butter is nice and melted, I'm not measuring things, so I don't know, take a good chunk and make sure it's covered. Next step we're gonna do, put the oats in it. Like I said, once the butter is nice and melted, step number 2, put the oats in it. How many oats do we wanna do? Well, if you wanna eyeball it like me, you're just doing 4 packets. But the important thing is the entire pan is covered. Nice. All right. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it back onto the heat and get a crust forming. So really cook that stuff up. All right, and right away, it's a pretty quick process. And the next thing you need to do, put some brown sugar on it. How much brown sugar? Well, I don't know. All the recipes I read say something like 3 cups, which is like, I don't know, a lot. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a lot. I like to have mine covered with it. So pretty much if you cover the entire thing, you'll be in the clear. And we might as well put the strawberries on, like I said. That's the kind of strawberries I'm dealing with. And it doesn't really matter because, again, it all goes in your stomach. It all goes in it. And actually, we're going to be stirring this thing up. So the more syrupy our strawberries are and the more crushed they are, the better. The important thing is, if you're a picky eater, you take the green part out. And since we're still in nature today and we're cooking in nature and we're listening to the lovely kookaburras sing to us as we cook in nature, we throw the strawberry pits for them to thank them for their song. And there's that. So yeah, you really want to find the crushed up strawberries. And again, you're going to be eating this, so looks don't matter. A lot of people tell me looks matter, but not when it comes to cooking. And actually, you kind of want these super crushed up because it makes it easier for everything to be cooked together. Like I said, I picked 2.5 kilos, so that's why I'm going crazy with this cobbler. It's not like, it's not like these strawberries are going to be used for anything else. And if you want to, you can cut the strawberries up a tiny bit. Make them extra mushy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And while you're out here cooking in nature, or out here enjoying your strawberries, it's important to reflect on how blessed we are that we get to enjoy this sort of stuff. It's pretty delicious. Who knows? We might get to share it with someone. And yeah, there you have it. That's how you make some strawberry cobbler. Again, if you're going to be cooking at high temperature like I am using a jet boil, you don't need to cook it for that long, just about 5 minutes, and you want to cook it until the strawberries turn kind of syrupy. If you want to mash them out, you certainly can to speed things up, but cook so that there's a nice little bit of syrup and crust forming on the brown sugar, and yeah, it'll make things taste a lot better. If it doesn't taste good, that's okay. You still get to eat it. Strawberry cobbler. Nice and easy to make. It's 4 ingredients, or at least the way I do it, it's 4 ingredients. And it tastes like 4 ingredients. It doesn't need to be complicated, it just needs to satisfy yourself. And, you know, much like the guy being very careful putting the strawberries nicely. And the second they got in my bag, turned into strawberry jam. The second they got into the pan, that's exactly what they need to be. So don't stress too much about how things look. What matters is how they taste. We're in the business of making things taste good, not look good. And I gotta say, business is booming. And I think that's what's neat about cooking in nature. Or, well, I guess that's not really nature, but it's taking nature and cooking it. You get to enjoy it, and, well, no matter what it looks like, it still is tasty and it still is healthy for you. Fresh fruit is always a game winner, but if you're able to combine it with a few other things like oats, butter, and sugar, then hey, you've got yourself a pretty nice snack. You know, and it's funny because like flour, sugar, and butter, that makes up like almost every single dessert ever. And literally the only thing we're adding to this is strawberries. So if anything, you do a bit of a fun thing where you see what you can add to it. Maybe it's not strawberry season where you are. Maybe it's blueberry season. Or maybe when you're watching this, it's blackberry season or raspberry season or, I don't know, cherry season. Or, ooh, this is another one, peach season. Or, ooh, let's keep listing off fruits at this point, apple season. Regardless of what fruit season it is, you can basically just take those and do the exact same recipe. The important thing for things like apples and peaches is you want to cut those guys up smallly. And if you're using something like, I don't know, a pear or guava, you need to really cut that stuff finely and cook it for a longer time so that it can kind of syrupify. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and thank you for sticking around till the end to, you know, share your thoughts about what other things you could make this berry cobbler, or honestly, we'll just change this to fruit cobbler. And then let me know what you think about it if you've tried it before. Again, it's a simple recipe. You throw some butter inside it, you cover the pan with oats, you cover the pan with brown sugar, and then you cover the pan with fruit. You stir it together until it's a nice syrupy taste. And, well, again, you've got some pretty good stuff. You can do this for breakfast, like what I'm doing. Or I suppose you could do this for an actual dessert. It's very simple, but it does the trick. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to come back next week. We're going to talk about something else that's neat.